There and welcome everyone to Alex Xiao's High School Path 101. Now, I was originally going to create a video where I show my face, however, I find it more efficient and better for me to just show you guys and walk you guys through it. So, hi there, my name is Alex. I am currently a high school senior, been accepted into colleges, already, I'm almost done with this. So I'm going to just share some of my own information that I've learned across these 4 years so I can help you guys out in the future. So, first off, you guys have to understand your school really depends on whatever you want to do in the future. So basically, by school, I mean college. So if you're aiming for like the Ivies, if you want to go for like Harvard or something, then you're obviously going to step it up. This is obvious enough. But I'm just trying to say right now, depending on where you want to go, you should be able to tailor the amount of effort you put in. I know it's always like, oh, shoot for the best, it's super competitive and everything, but for me specifically, I give you the advice of, if you know where you want to go already, you should just make sure you tailor your efforts so you have a good high school experience and you actually use your energy wisely. So for example, I have a few friends of mine who are going straight to community college because they either don't want to go to college currently or they want to transfer out. For whatever reason, if you want to go to community college, what I suggest for you is coast on, meet as many people as possible, be friends, because none of this is going to matter if you're in community college. However, if you do care more about the financial side of things, then I suggest you start loading APs. Now, if you're a student, you should know what an AP is. An AP is basically an advanced placement class, which is extremely different from your on-level class. It's the same concepts and everything, yes, but it's quite a bit harder and it goes deeper into the concept itself. Now, APs not only show the colleges that, oh, this guy is smart, but it also shows that you've done this class before. It's basically college level at that point. And what you want to do is you can use, if you take the test, because all APs have an AP test at the end of the course exam, and that you have to go to, it's sponsored by College Board. You have to study for this test. If you get a 5 or a 3 and above, you will get credit for that test, for that subject. So for example, if I take AP Calc and I take the test, then I would be able to have credits for calculus in college. So if you want to save money, whether you go to university or community college, you always want to take APs because it saves you money, and who doesn't want to save money? Plus, for those of you who want to go into more competitive schools, APs are essential to raise your GPA. Now, what is your GPA? A GPA is basically all the classes, all the grades that you get, all condensed into 1 year, and you add that all together and you get a number. Now, normally for freshman year, you would get a 4.0. That means you get all A's in all classes at the end of the year for both semesters if you have two semester classes. Now, if you have a 4.0, that's pretty good because freshman year, you're not going to be doing much. There's very little schools that I know of that allow you to take APs in freshman year because you're just getting situated. Make friends. Make sure you take freshman year easy. However, in the future, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, especially junior year, you're going to have to go beyond a 4 for your GPA if you want to get into a good college. Now, for example, you have AP classes, as I said before. These will give you more GPA, so this will help your GPA. So for example, an AP class in A is equal to a 5. However, in an on-level, an A is actually equal to a 4. And that's where we get this GPA from. Because in freshman year, you can only get 4s because they're all on-level classes. Very little schools allow you to take APs. However, as soon as you start taking APs, if you add a 5 into this average equation, because it's an average, for example, if you take 7 classes, you got 5 plus 4, etc. Then you would end up with a GPA that's higher than 4. So you maybe like a 4.17 if you take like 2 or 3 APs. And this is basically really important for showing colleges that, hey, this kid's actually good and he's actually going above and beyond. Because if you live in California where I live, above 4.0 is required for certain colleges. From UCs to Ivy Leagues especially, you need a really high GPA, which means you need to take more and more AP classes. Now, at your school, they may allow you to do dual enrollment, which is going directly to community college level classes, which is really helpful, but I personally didn't do that, so I'm gonna skip that. Now, once we got GPA out of the way, this is genuinely the most important part. Keep that GPA up. Me, for example, I blundered a little bit in junior year because I got 2 Bs. Now, Bs are nothing to shy away from if they're in an AP class. However, you basically had to go through all this suffering, all this pain, just so you could get just so you get that 5 and like get that raise. But you didn't end up getting it if you got a B. So it would just go in as a regular on level A, basically. So it's not the end of the world if you get a B in an AP class. In fact, it's okay. It's pretty good. But if you're going to take an AP class, aim for an A in that class so you can raise that GPA. That GPA is extremely important. Now, let me erase this. The next thing we're going to talk about is the next big important thing about college admissions and just high school in general, extracurriculars. Now, extracurriculars are needed to show that you're not just some nerd. You're not just some boring person that stays at home and studies all day. Because let's be honest, as a member of society or as a member of a college, nobody wants to be around that. Sure, you get the Albert Einsteins, but really, what are the chances you're an Albert Einstein in this day and age with this many people? There's not much. So you have to show that you are actually a human. You do things for fun, or you just do things for outside of school. That's the most important part. Because if you do school only, then that's kind of a red flag. So, extracurriculars. This could be anything from me personally. I take robotics, to volunteering, to traveling the world. Now, volunteering is a subsect of extracurriculars, which is extremely important, because this shows that you are actually willing to help out your community. And in this day and age of college admissions, community is a big thing, because you want the college to know that, hey, I'm a member of this community and I actually help out. You're not just someone that doesn't care about the community around you, because let's be real, the college that you go to is going to become your community. So they want you to be a member of your own community, volunteering, like homeless shelters, food banks, all of this. These are all really important for your college journey. Only option. There's many other options that you can do for when it comes to extracurriculars. Now, I enjoy doing robotics because I like competing with others, and the people in my robotics team were really helpful. And in all honesty, your extracurriculars have to match your major, and that's extremely important, because while yes, some students want to be well-rounded, like you should dip your toes into certain other extracurriculars, like don't go all into like chemistry. If you're doing a chemistry student, throw in some volunteering, do something extra. But you need to make sure that there's a general trend of what you want to do in your extracurriculars. Like, for example, I want to be a data scientist, so some of my extracurriculars include engineering and data science, because it shows to the colleges, like, this guy knows what he's doing. He's on track. And if everything matches together with the major that you choose, that's really important. Now, when it comes to making sure you have the right extracurriculars, even though you don't have whatever major you may want to do, that's actually quite important as well. Because when it comes to making sure you know what you want to do, you should actually start in freshman year. From anything from like the classes that your school offers. Like, for example, you might think you're into biology, so you take bio. And obviously some of these are required, so you're going to have to take them anyway. But if you want to go out of your way to understand what you want to do in the future, because if you are undecided, if you don't know what you want to do, it's going to be really hard when you apply to college, because you're basically saying, I don't have anything. And also your extracurriculars aren't going to be able to match anything. So my first number one advice is pick your major. Now, not exactly as in like immediately like, oh, I want to do data science, like that's what I did, but personally speaking, what you want to do is you want to make sure that along the lines of what you're going to do is an idea that you already have. Like, for example, oh, I want to go into medicine, or I want to do something that involves lawyer. Like, all of these things are required if you want to make sure your extracurriculars match with your major. And picking a major is something that you can do all the way in senior year, because that's when you have to start narrowing it down a lot. But basically, in freshman year, explore a lot, make friends, start connecting with people, and basically get ready for sophomore year. Now, sophomore year, the second year of high school, is when you need to start making sure your extracurriculars are in order, because this entire time it's going to start ramping up, because you're going to start taking a few APs in sophomore year. You're also going to need more extracurriculars, because in freshman year, let's be honest, you're just trying things out. And after you found out what you like to do in freshman year, that's when in sophomore year you start locking in around what you want to do. So maybe this includes taking APs that are related to the school or whatever pathway you want to do, like AP World or AP Chemistry. Like, these are all things you should be actively thinking about when you're choosing your classes and extracurriculars in sophomore year. Now, as I said before, a GPA is still extremely important. However, one thing that you should always do is realize it's always going to get harder, because these next 2 years, junior year and senior year, are some of the hardest years of your life up to this point. Now, junior year is basically the student killer in a way, because you have to juggle a ton of APs. This is when all the APs are opened up to you. You can have a lot of them at once. And this is when your GPA is going to be rising, which is a good thing. And this is also when you have a lot of established extracurriculars already happening in the background. So you just have to juggle a lot of things. And the reason this junior year is so important is because not only are the AP exams going to go up because there's more opportunities and so is your GPA, but also because you might have to take the SAT. And now the SAT is extremely important because they might bring it back. I know during COVID, a lot of schools want test optional. However, your SAT is also a determining factor for college. It basically shows the college, hey, this guy's pretty smart when it comes to math and reading. So make sure you study up on the SAT. I'll make an SAT video later if you need me to. Now, when it comes to making sure that you have the most successful junior year possible, you want to always avoid APs that you don't want to take. Now, for example, I fell into this trap because I felt like I needed to take AP Calc and AP Stats. I despise AP Calculus. I hate it. I do not want anything to do with it. Well, I didn't know that, but I just knew it. I had a general idea, but I still took it anyway. Avoid doing that. If you know you don't want to do an AP, do not take it at all. Even if it boosts your GPA, do not take it, because during this year, you will have enough stress. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys about the whole, healthy living habits. I'll do another video on that. However, when it comes to junior year, take the SAT, keep your grades up, lock in on your extracurriculars, and make sure that you're using your summers wisely. Now, this is where I go into summer. I know summer is a time to have fun, travel with your family, obviously. Freshman year summer, go ahead, do all that. Now, sophomore year summer and junior year summer are where you actually have to start making good on your extracurriculars. This is where trips come in, whether they're educational, whether they're volunteering. You can do trips that are across the globe, and this will help a lot when it comes to your extracurricular list. Like, hey, I traveled to Japan and I helped represent San Jose. Like, these are all super good extracurriculars that you can do during the summer because everyone's free. Now, during the summer, you should also be studying up a little bit, but I personally don't feel the need to. During AP season and like sophomore year and junior year, Khan Academy is your best friend. I know at my school, one of our teachers doesn't teach very well, so we just had to go straight to Khan Academy to learn everything, and we did. We ended up learning it just fine. Now, when it comes to the summer, you can hang out with friends, but you should also start thinking about starting your own thing. You want to make sure that you break free from the mold. You create your own thing. Whether this be creating a club or creating like a business even, you want to make sure that you do something that is unique to yourself that hasn't already been created. Now, I can't recommend anything specifically because it really depends on your major, but things like internships, if you have connections, and I'm not talking about just like tech jobs or anything, even like volunteering at City Hall, something like that, if you're trying to be a lawyer, is really, really helpful. So make sure you connect with adults in your life, like your teachers, get in touch with them, or just reach out by email. They're usually willing to help high school students because they know how you want to be into a similar field as them. Now, in general, this is when I get into the last part of high school, which is senior year. Now, me personally, I believe that senior year has been the hardest year of all time, simply because not only did I take the same amount of APs in senior year and junior year, but also because I have college admissions. Now, for college admissions, you need to start early. I started all the way back in junior summer, which gave me around 6 to 8 months of prep time, which was barely enough in the end. Do not leave anything to the last minute unless you want to fail. I'm gonna be honest with you. You need to start early. You need to start thinking early. That's why I said extracurriculars are so important, because extracurriculars are where you start your story. Now, when it comes to applying to college, there's a lot of different things. I'm just gonna go over the briefness of it, but I'm gonna make another video about applying to college. But when it comes to senior year, make sure you remember all the important events in your life that you can write about in your essays. You gotta make sure that you don't fail any of your classes in senior year. However, for senior year first semester, you need to make sure you keep your grades up. Don't go to a C. In second semester, they don't really care, but if you have a D, that's probably a bad look anyway. So just try and avoid senioritis, which I know is the thing where, honestly, I've done so much already, I just want to slack off, but make sure you don't have it for the first semester at least. You can drop basically all of your extracurriculars if you really didn't enjoy them, because it's not that important anymore. You don't need to do it just for the sake of college admissions, because you're doing college admissions right now. So you're going to have a lot of time writing your essays. You're going to have a lot of time thinking about your achievements and writing them out on Common App or UCs. Now, when it comes to the UC specific, all they look at for your GPA is junior year and sophomore year. Now, for California, what I didn't do, I wish I did earlier, was sophomore year, you should take a lot of APs. I'm going to be honest with you. Because junior year, yeah, everyone's going to take a lot of APs, but California specifically, they only look at these 2 years for GPA. And I kind of fell into the pitfall of doing senior year. So senior year, I had a lot of APs, which is right now. Junior year, I had a lot of APs, but sophomore year, I only had 1 AP, which wasn't very good at all. So that's bad, in my opinion. So just make sure you start in sophomore year. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I'm going to create a next college admission video because this is an entirely different subject that we should probably get into. So see you later. Please subscribe and like.